Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to my channel once again. It's been a while since I posted a video, but what's been happening is that I've been obviously redirecting, changing, reinventing, adding things, because obviously like I'm multidimensional and there's many things that I've kind of become and added to my game. And I really had to kind of find that place where I can really put things together in a proper way so that I can basically divulge information in a proper and simple way, because that's what it all comes down to, being able to take something that's complicated and make it damn simple. So on my channel, basically, I'm going to be making sure I focus more on entrepreneurship, personal development. I'm focusing on travel and a lot of this new Africa stuff, which is the AfCFTA, which is the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, right? So I really am I've always been passionate about Africa and about Africa getting its act together, and it's really something that I'm passionate about. And it's also in line with what the African Union is about, because I'm from South Africa. Here we are, and it's really just about Africa awakening, which is also my third book, or the next book I'm going to be writing, which is going to be Larger Than Life and Africa, the Giant Awakens, right? But I wanted to dedicate this video to just saying that I'm here. I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to be letting it all out, putting it down, different kinds of content all the way around, and just really be more consistent with it. You know what I mean? But that's my promise to you. So basically, in today's video, I wanted to talk about what is the AfCFTA, what is the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Okay, now it's very important we start talking about this, because it's very important. It's monumental. All right, and the real main thing that it is, and we have to have a bit of background, right? So you get the biggest economies, multi-trillion-dollar economies are obviously the USA, it's China, it's Russia, it's Japan. These countries, are massive. They have massive amounts of population in them. Over hundreds of millions of people are in those populations. And America is divided up into 50 states, 50 states. China has about, 23 provinces. Russia has about 21 republics. The EU has, 27 or 28 countries all involved in it. But the thing about these economies that make them so massive is the fact that they come together. All right, they're all together. They have one currency, and there's free movement between them, free money flowing, free people moving, and it's goods and services can move and people can interact, which makes the market really massive. Okay, and so this is basically how these economies have become so massive, because they've come together and really have acted as one voice, one kind of person or individualistic entity that then goes and forms partnerships and trade agreements with other countries, right? But the main thing is the fact that people are in one country, one language, one currency, and they're just flowing, and it makes it easier to do business, because everything is then built, infrastructure is built, everything in terms of the roads, from telecommunications, everything is built together, okay? So this has been the issue with Africa, in the sense of we have not been able to come together, because Africa has got 55 countries, right? But each one of these countries have been divided, all right? And there hasn't been like a place where they can come together. The AU was formed in 2002, right? But we have not had the four freedoms, meaning the freedom of goods and services, the freedom of people, and the freedom of money in the continent. And it's been a struggle, because now it's difficult to get products from one place to the other, because the roads are in a shitty condition. Sometimes you get a situation where it's more expensive for you to ship products from one place of the country to the other. It's much easier to ship them to other countries via the ships in Europe, and then bring them back via other ports in Africa to those countries, right? Another thing that makes it also impossible or difficult is the fact that payments have been quite difficult to make, because now we have to basically use other continental or other countries outside of Africa's their payment systems that must send money that way and bring them back to the site, but there's transactional costs involved. So there's just so many things that Africa hasn't gotten right, okay? And so what the AfCFTA does, or what it basically is going to do, what it is Africa's first free trade agreement with itself. Now, what makes it very important is the fact that in Africa, only about 17 or 18% of the continent trades with itself. And this is all because of the problems that I mentioned: infrastructure, roads, the different people, different currencies and everything. And what we're about to see right now is that since the 1st of January 2021, we're about to basically become one market, okay? Which means Africa, if you think about Power Rangers, if you used to watch Power Rangers back in the day, right? Africa used to have, like when those big Zords would come out and the monsters would attack, and then, the Power Rangers would call their big Zords and they'd get inside the little Zords and they'd fight the little or fight the big monsters, right? But then what happened was that when things became too hectic or pear-shaped, they would combine into one megazord. Okay, so before this trade agreement, Africa was like 55 different zords, each Power Ranger, each country trying to go to a big country, a big, huge China or America or EU, and we try to negotiate trade terms and say, please, guys, let's do A, B, C, D, E. But that wasn't the case. And so we had to take whatever those countries gave us because we had no bargaining power. We were small, tiny Zord, small economies, and each country had to basically go and have what they call bilateral agreements with other countries and bigger countries, right? To determine trade negotiations. So now for the first time, Africa is becoming one big massive Zord, like huge as Zord. Okay, it's a mega Zord. And now we can go to other countries and say, listen, dude, we're a continent with 1 billion people and we're worth trillions of dollars as well. So can we make sure that any product that comes from this continent and goes to your place, there's free trade agreements and like we want A, B, C, D, E, you get this, we get this, and we can basically start negotiating as equals versus as tiny little Zords, against big monsters. Doesn't make sense. So this is what the AfCFTA is really just trying to do. It's trying to make sure that right now we can negotiate our trade terms and we can operate as one market. And what this means for you as a person is that if you have a product, if you have a company, if you have a service that you can now trade with other African countries easier, right? Less BS, less red tape, less barriers. You can now, services can flow from one place to the other. We are going to be able to communicate more, meet more people, more money flowing, more goods and services flowing. With the AU passports coming out right now, we'll be able to travel to every single country in Africa without having to be, requiring visas or the issues that we had before. It's going to just go to one place to the other, just like in the EU. And it's very important that this happens because now it means our cultures can cross-fertilize. We can now learn about each other. We can now be able to trade with each other, which means that it's going to be more money, more jobs, more opportunities. Another thing that's also important is that countries can now specialize. There can be what's known as, in economics, competitive advantage, meaning that if Cameroon is good in this specific thing and Zambia is good in this specific thing, they don't both have to be good at these things together. They can be able to be, one can be good at something, Zambia can be good at something, and they can trade. And that's a beautiful thing, which means Cameroon can focus on what it's good at and Zambia can focus on what it's good at, which means that right now, countries don't have to be all things to its citizens, okay? And this is very important. So it means right now we're going to have access, we're going to have more information flow, we're going to have more competition, and if there's more competition, prices generally drive down, which means cheaper price for food, cheaper prices for petrol, cheaper prices for data, because we all know data in Africa is very expensive, right? And it's just more travel, more hospitality, more food, like there'll just be more, more of the things, you know what I mean? So this is a very important thing that we have to look at and really be proud of and be happy and really get into and get involved in, right? And I'm going to be sharing more information as time goes on about what it's all about, just information that comes down that, can be easily absorbed and taken in, and really just to compress it and make it easier for absorption, because not everybody understands economics. And I mean, these documents, and thank you people like Tralek who are out there, Trade Law Center, who basically bring information out there and whatnot. But the thing is, it's not everybody understands this information, and it's very important that we make it simpler for everybody to understand, right? So this is basically what the AfCFTA is about, the Africa Free Trade Agreement. Africa is becoming a megazord, all right? Power Rangers becoming a megazord versus a small tiny Zord trying to do what it can. And it's finally getting its act together, and I'm so proud, I'm so amped, and I'm so excited. It's about Africa doing its own thing, Africa being its own thing versus trying to copy and be what it's, how it's always been, and it's just that identity that's going to come out, and I'm really excited about it. And I think I want to share more about it, and I will. We're going to be doing webinars with the Africa Business Forum. We're going to be doing events, the Africa Free Trade Indaba, which is going to be an event that we're going to be doing that's going to be, teaching people and bringing people together, an expo, products coming together, people meeting each other, very important. And that's basically me, Llewellyn, and it's been awesome to have you guys here. Join me, on social media, on Master Louis, on Instagram, Twitter, Clubhouse, just come and just enjoy and just get involved and just learn and just yes. Africa. Ahoo, ahoo.